because someone's turning 50 soon.
What kind of memory is the body going to have around a battle scar? Welcome to Burnout Business and Body, the podcast that helps you take care of yourself and your life in 3 powerful ways.
Hi, I'm Nicole, your stress management and health recovery coach, here to help you slow down, reconnect, and rediscover the peace that lives beneath the pressure.
And I'm Belinda Smith, your business leadership and team coach, helping you build a business that supports your life, your people, and your profit.
And I'm Sabine Solowski, helping your peak performance coach, helping you to improve and develop from the inside out.
In each episode, we explore how burnout, business, and body all are deeply connected and how small shifts across all 3 can create big change in your energy, your work, and your life. Hi, girls.
Hello.
Girls or ladies? Do you prefer girls or ladies?
Girls. I'm nearly
Girls
50.
is more fun.
Girls.
I think that
Want to maintain being a girl as long as I can be.
I agree. I think it's really nice.
Because someone's turning 50 soon.
Yeah, I'm excited. Well, I thought I was really excited, and I was like, "Oh, age is nothing but a number," and all that. And then all of a sudden, something hit me, and I thought, "I'm going to be 50," and then I don't know. It just sort of I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, I don't know. It's I didn't think it'd be a big deal, but it's touching a few things that I didn't think were touchable.
Okay, there you go.
In a,
Have you had that with any number yet?
No, I don't think so. But with 50, I think I was booking something for July, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be 50 in then," and that just, I mean, it just sort of changed things. I'm no longer in my 40s, and then when people ask me, "How old are you?" 50, like the words sort of, and I've been saying I'm 50 for a while. Like most people say they're younger than what they are. I say I'm older than what I am. I don't know, just, and yeah, so I don't know, it's a bit surprising. I thought, yeah, it's surprising, but we will see. I'm sure it's another adventure.
Yes, it is. Yep.
I'm not sure if we can hang out because I've been telling people I've got a friend in their 40s. You know.
Oh, so I'm allowed. I'm old enough to be a friend, but you're not.
You know, I just made that up.
How what do you feel about the 50 Club, Belinda? How were you when you turned the 50?
I've been there for 4 years, so
I know,
I've had
babe,
a
but I'm sure you can
lot of
listen.
time.
You can remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I embraced it. I thought it was really exciting. I thought it was when I could wear gold shoes. It's time that I can wear white pants if I wanted to. I can drive a convertible if I really wanted to. Maybe I could wear a hat. I thought it was the ultimate, age of maturity that, you know what, nothing else is going to bother me too much. So I actually really liked turning 50. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, enough of this business. What are we talking about today, Belinda?
Oh, well, maybe this is a great topic because it's battle scars.
Oh.
It is. Ooh, yeah.
Battle scars. Now, if I could sing, I would kind of do a bit of Guy Sebastian
Give
here.
it a go, babe.
No, it's about what we carry and how it shapes us. The concept, which we'll have to do, there's a lot to talk about here, so we may have to do this in 2 episodes, is what happened to us. So it's how our experiences shape our beliefs, our nervous system, and identity and behaviour patterns. So this episode is more reflective and awareness-based. So we would be kind of, having different takeaways like I'm hoping that it's more that people understand that their reactions or what's going on for them is really because of something that's happened. But I'd love to open it up because this is a big one.
It's a huge one. And it's a big one that people don't really understand. They don't realise that their past is showing up in the way they do things, the way they respond to things, the decisions that they make. It's all of that. So that's
how about we kick off with what it is? So Nicole, do you want to kick us off about what are battle scars?
Yeah, thanks. So battle scars are, how do I say this? They're an adaptation, they're not flaws. So they're emotional survival strategies, they're nervous system responses, they're protective identities, and they're coping mechanisms that have developed in unsafe environments. You know, they're belief systems that we make early on in our childhood when things are happening, when we're not feeling safe, and we make experiences mean something to us. And in that time, there's a belief system built around that. And so it's, you know, the emotional suppression.
So that battle scar in when I think about it in a business sense, is it actually happened in a leadership session that I had recently, where the client had decided that they were going to approach the team a certain way before they knew the whole story. And I was really curious, and I said, why would you like to do it that way? And they said, well, I had a bad experience, so this is the way I do it now. And that's exactly where the story came from. And importantly, in leadership, I had to get that leader to actually find out if the team wanted it delivered that certain way. Because if that leader went in with the belief that they won't like it because I didn't before, then they might be pushing something onto them.
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Sabina? What kind of memory is the body going to have around a battle scar?
Well, I mean, for me, you girls know a bit about my history, but your body's always trying to keep you safe. And it does this in lots of physiological and psychological ways. And so it responds to hold on to things. As an example of that would be for myself, you know, I had a lot of digestive stress because I was experiencing a lot of stress on the outside. So it was deemed not safe for me to, you know, go to the loo, for me to digest my food properly because I was just constantly in that mode. So my body was taking care of me. But obviously that didn't, you know, that led to a lot of not so great experiences for me as well. But it was trying to look out for me. So I think when we've got scars, and those scars are still there, and I know, even though I am approaching 50, and I think the bulk of the damage or for my digestive system was sort of like when I was around sort of in my like 8, around that time. They still pinpoint, they still sort of come up, those little things. And recently something's been going on and it's reminded me of when I was younger and, you know, things that were going on in the playground. And that scar was sort of, it was like the wound was like rubbed. You know, someone sort of like basically got it sort of like just sort of pushed it a little bit more, and all of a sudden your body remembers and it's like high alert. So your body and your mind the same, right? Is that when it's always on guard and it has that memory, that muscle memory, that memory in your organs and your tissues, that once those scars just sort of get they come up again at the resurface, it's got that memory and it starts to put in those processes that kept you safe last time. So your digestive stress will come back because that is, you know, the simplest way to keep you safe in that context. So yeah, your body, I mean, and it's not just digestion. You know, I've seen a lot of scars on people, you know, internal scars in the fact that how they hold themselves in their body. So when people are carrying weight, for example, they carry it differently. When you are, you know, your posture is sort of like you're bringing your arms down because you're trying to protect yourself. That's often something that's happened in the past because maybe you felt you weren't safe before. So you adopted this this strategy to protect yourself, and your body remembers. And maybe you got rid of it, but it still comes back. That memory is still there. So that's one example of how your body can see that.
Yep.
Amazing.
What about
And having-
business? What do you think, Linda?
Oh, I
Me-
had so many. Where to start about battle scars in business? Once you have an experience, a difficult experience maybe in the workplace, it could have been with an employer, it could have been with an employer, or even a worker. It's just the same as having an experience at home.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just unforgettable. In business, where I see it showing up the most about what it is trust. Is it erodes trust. So these battle scars, things that have happened in our lives, tend to come out as eroded trust. So the owner is not really trusting on the team. The owner may be avoiding hard conversations. They may be overworking because they wanted to feel more worthy because they were let down by a previous employer. They could be micromanaging and other areas in, controlling behaviour.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you see this show up because of things that have occurred. And I do hear it quite often because I want to know where that came from.
Mm.
And I'll ask people, where does it come from? And they've got a story. Well, this happened to me, so now I believe this. So I am going to show you something, my favourite pyramid.
Not the pyramid
and-
of Giza.
No, but it's this. I bring it out all the time. It's a bit crumpled, but it is my pyramid here, and it's the conversation around how our experiences, they foster our beliefs, and our beliefs. So whatever the experience, we all have different ones, and that's how we get our belief system, and then those beliefs influence the actions.
Mm-hmm.
And those actions produce the top level results.
Yep.
So if we have had a certain experience, we're believing something's happened,
Mm-hmm.
and we honestly believe it to be true, and it can take over factual information. So ultimately, if we want to change the top, we have to change the bottom. So in a sense, we change our experiences, have new experiences, try new things or different ways. Then we can form new beliefs. Now, that's really difficult to say to somebody, but I'll say it to you like this. You know, the concept of doing the same thing over and over again and, getting the same result. It's kind of the definition of it, maybe insanity.
Who's that? Einstein.
Einstein, yeah. So if he's said this, then, and we're running the same pattern or the same battle scar, we're running it, but we might not be aware of that. If we don't have a new experience or try something new, as a leader, a worker, a mum, if you just kept going to kids' rooms saying the same thing and they're telling you to get out every single time and you didn't try a new tactic, it's not going to change. So the idea about the bottom of the pyramid, meaning changing our experiences, is the only way we can trial and error to change the ultimate results. That is in our business. That is in our personal life. It's anywhere. We have to try new things.
It's the beliefs that we adopted about the experiences, because the experiences have happened.
Yes.
But, the reality is even the employees, just anyone in general, even your friends, partners, any social aspect where you're connecting with another person, their beliefs will, the way they show up could be because they're in survival mode or they're in that hypervigilance because that's what they were taught to be in. This is also burnout from constantly trying to protect themselves. And they fear the conflict, so they won't go to their bosses and stand up, or they won't go to that partner and stand up to them, or they'll just dismiss themselves because they do not want to be rejected. So there's so many, it's emotional suppression at its core. And so that is what everyone's doing, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's the home, schoolyard's got it going on, you know, and that's the reality of it. Unfortunately, schoolyard don't understand, and it takes us to a certain age to realize what's going on, because we don't get taught until a certain point that, oh, hang on, I actually have this belief system because XYZ happened to me and I made it mean this, and now that's the program I'm running, and so therefore they're my actions, and therefore there will be the results that I receive from that kind of things.
I might as well. I mean, I know you said, you know, we don't realise it in the schoolyard, but sometimes, you know, even now things come up for me and I have to catch myself. And we're always there. There's always work to be done, right? There's never a ceiling. So I think, and there's no shame in that either. It's, you know, permissible, and I encourage you to, you know, seek help for that, because that experiences, those new experiences, they keep coming up, and even maybe didn't have resources then, maybe still don't have resources, but you do have agency, and you are in a position for most of us that can find some help, that can actually access those resources in any tiny small way, so that you can have some control over the experiences, which then experiences, beliefs, and then your results, everything then can cascade from there.
For sure. And the stories we create about them. So, you know, maybe in the workplace, I'll say things like, oh, you know, people always leave. My staff never stay. This is eroding trust. And if we have an experience and we've created a battle scar, or we haven't created the battle scar is there, and we create the story around the experience, can we make it mean something else? Do you think that's what happens?
100% we can.
Yeah, because it's a different perspective, but you're seeing it from a different age lens, a different time. You're able to be in a more calm, peaceful environment. Then you can look back on it and go, oh, well, it didn't need to mean that, or it meant that at the time, but I don't need to believe that right now. And you move forward with something that's letting that go, and then you change it to something more positive and more empowering, that, okay, I saw what that taught me. I can let that experience go. It does not mean this belief system, and now I know that I can let all that go, and I can walk forward knowing that I'm perfectly fine. And one of those belief systems, universal ones, that is the biggest one, is I'm not enough. And so there's many times in kids' lives where they might get that little belief system of, oh, so you go, that's not enough. And then another experience will come along and give you evidence that cements that belief system. So it's not just, it doesn't happen once. Different experiences can give you the same belief system, and therefore your mind is looking for evidence that that's correct. It's not looking for evidence to counteract it and go, no, I don't need to believe that. So that's why it's happens when we're forming ourselves, and yet it's not until we're older, and generally something's quite big may have happened in our lives, that we go and seek this help, because we don't actually realize that we have these belief systems that are running our lives, and we don't know what to do about them if we did. Or so that's the beauty of our coaching, for all of us to be able to help people take that journey and just gain awareness. It's not about a blame game. It's not about shaming anyone. It's just about viewing it from this lens with more clarity and more sense of purpose moving forward.
You know, what you said about, you know, looking for proof, is we make that proof up. So an example for me is, you know, I'm mixed race. My dad's Pakistani, right? And so I had a bit of racial abuse. And then, as an example, I got some more abuse, right? A story I can make up is, oh, that's racially led. It might not be. I mean, could it be? But because I'm so focused on that's the idea, is that from then on, and then when another experience happens, I assume it's because of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
and it might not have anything to do with that. And so it is. I mean, it's so convoluted how we make up these meanings and these experiences, but we can even create our own meanings based on what's happened in the past. Is that maybe they actually I don't know, whatever, but there's some positive empowering beliefs. We make a choice to go down the negative route often more than not.
Definitely. And we always seem to have that negative bias. And it's interesting. I've had a client recently who's going through a separation, and a lot of they're the ones that are feeling very vulnerable. It wasn't their choice, so they're feeling very vulnerable. And so for them to feel quite validated, listening to the language and listening to how they were talking, up would come up old memories, and they would talk about this memory, and then they attached a meaning to it, not necessarily factual, not necessarily right, but that meaning that they attached to that memory gave them the validation that they were okay. See, I'm okay because of that, because the most important thing, this is all happening because we want to feel safe.
Mm.
And that's our primary thing. We're hardwired for safety. And so that's what we're doing. So it's not, again, there's no blame, it's no shame. It is literally just our mind's way of keeping us safe in that respect by coming up with these thoughts and to validate who we are, what we are, and to keep in line with the identities that we've created along the way. Because otherwise it's very uncomfortable.
Well, the battle scar becomes, I think, a byproduct of something else. So something's occurred, and I'll give you an example. So not from myself, but an example I can think of, a conversation I had with a leader some years ago. So the conversation was, my father was a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
He owned a business. I will never be like that.
Yeah.
I will never do that. I will let my team do great things. Now, as a leader, what happens? The team walk all over this person. Not really getting ahead in business because the belief system there, or the experience is, I'm going to let my team be really soft. So he hasn't learned the boundaries required at work because of this. And you see this show up a lot. See it show up with, with leaders, with business people. These stories, I don't want to be like that. I will not be like that. I've had a tyrant boss before, for example. So I don't like that. Or even the opposite. Something really nice is I've had a really great role model, and this is what they did. And if you had a great role model in the past and you want to emulate what they're doing and master their acts, then you often copy that, and it's very flattering for somebody to look at what you're doing and saying, I want to be a leader like that. Though the challenge is they might be great at one or two things and not others. And so then we copy all of the behaviors. We tell ourselves the behavior, like this person's great in every single way, yet they were really great at communicating and making sure that you felt safe at work, but they couldn't run the business. And so it's so important to be a gatherer of different mentors and different experiences and information, so that those things, when they show up for us, they give us an opportunity for us to think differently.
Yeah. And it, in your personal relationships, you might find yourself feeling very defensive in your reactions, and think about it. Oh, you say something and then oh, that was a bit harsh, or why am I so defensive? And you kind of pick yourself up, or you might simply be shutting down. The best one is the people pleasing and the over explaining. And that's because you're uncertain and it's showing up this way. And it's that's belief, especially if you're running the belief of I'm not enough. I've got to explain everything to you so you understand where I'm coming from, so that you don't take anything out of context, because then you'll know I'm enough. Or the people pleasing, I better do this because I'm of value and you need to know I'm of value. And so I'm just going to keep giving and giving and giving. And then there's the other ones that just simply need the validation of I am okay. I'm okay. But they're giving their power away to the outside world of, okay, you're telling me that I'm okay, instead of actually knowing that on the inside. It's very it is the work that people talk about, and I haven't yet met someone who hasn't got something that they need to, even if it's not a big trauma. There's things called accumulative traumas, and they might be tiny little things that are happening all the time, and they happen throughout your life. As I said, you'll gain the same experience until you understand it, and then realize, oh, I can deal with that differently, and you make that positive change. And when that experience comes up, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm doing it this way, or whatever you choose. And so it doesn't have to be big traumas. Those accumulative little things of emotional unsafety times, they become a big trauma in the end. And it's crept up on us and we didn't realize. And as Sabina can talk to more about it, it happens to then impact your body.
Savannah, can I ask a question about food here? When people have a reaction to food, and like an allergic reaction, for example, is it the body keeping score, or can people actually make themselves sick by thinking about that?
100%. Yeah, I mean, and this is not diluting. There's lots of some really serious life-threatening allergies out there, but there's also is that if we've had trauma attached to a certain type of food, then that can be the body remembers. And when we ingest that food again, we can have some really violent attacks. So, purging, getting rid of it in one way or the other, because the body sees it as some kind of poison. And at the time, it's a psychological poison, but it associates that psychological poison, that psychological event, with a physiological event as well. And let's get rid of it, and like try and reclaim the homeostasis, to try and reclaim the balance. So absolutely, there, and some people can't. There's lots of people who just can't have certain foods because of the bad experience that they've had against it. But on the flip side, there is food addictions, and that, and we don't put them as battle scars, but for example, one interesting fact is we all like milk and sugar and fat, all right? But that was our first food. So if you think about chocolate, which is 50% fat, 50% sugar, it's the same as breast milk. That was 50%. That's our first bit of comfort from was that. So we wonder why we keep on going for these kinds of foods, but that often can be associated with that comfort that we had when we were first newborn. So again, that your body keeps those associations, and sometimes if we're looking for comfort food, then it could be that comfortable place where we felt safe and secure with our mum, or our caregiver, whoever it might be. But if it reminds us of that 50% milk sugar, like a big block of dairy milk, then it can come out like that, and then that can be a really unhealthy obsession that we have, and it can have another unhealthy. So just being aware of recognizing these things and asking yourself if you do have a propensity to go for a certain kind of food or drink, alcohol as well, right? Is just asking yourself a question: is there something in my past that may be cueing this? And we talk about emotional scars, but we also have emotional emotional bonds. So even if you have alcohol in your background, in your past, or drugs, then that might still be, it might not be great, but it's still something that maybe was predictable, was safety for you.
Yeah.
And we're not here for judgment. That's that was your truth. So maybe you're seeking it again. So be curious. If I'm seeking it again, if I'm seeking a drug or a drink or a certain food, what is it? What is it I'm actually trying to get? Is it the feeling of feeling loved? Is it the feeling of feeling home, secure? I mean, we all have those kinds of foods, right? Our gut has memory, right? So we know those foods that remind us of when we're children, the good and the bad. So just having that, asking yourself that question and being really assertive, and just being curious, asking yourself, what is it I'm actually looking for? Am I looking for that glass of wine, or am I looking for some comfort that I used to feel when I was at home, when I was surrounded by my loved ones and I was sat around the table and we were all having a lot of fun?
And I have a perfect example of that. Years ago, one of my clients we were doing the root cause of the weight, and it went back to all these beautiful moments where she's at the kitchen table surrounded by her grandmother, having a beautiful cup of tea and the nice hot scones, and feeling love and warmth and connection. And every scene that we went to was all about the connection that she felt with food. So she didn't want to give up the food because that meant that she'd be disconnected. And so you're right, that was her bond. It was her thing of like, the food is representation of being connected and loved, and the warmth that she felt in those moments. So it is very powerful stuff, very powerful stuff.
And once you know and have that awareness, you can see, a coach to help you, or you can help it yourself. But even look at other ways that can fulfill that same need. And knowing that you have agency, that you have power over that, can just be liberating for the habits that have held on to you, that you've held on to for a long time. Not knowing, thinking, oh, well, I'm going to have it. I love chocolate, or I love watching. I love watching. For me, it's movies. But this is, there's always anchors.
For me, it's chocolate.
But there's always things that we get into them, but we're not getting into them for the face value. There's something deep underneath. It's just having that conversation with ourselves, asking, what is it that you really want? Is it? Having a deep question.
Sabina, I think your addiction to English movies is much healthier than others, so that's a good thing. I have an addiction to Colin Firth. He's also in a lot of English movies, and I find that quite a healthy addiction. Dear, I digress. Being a coach, this is a moment to bring up, because we tend to study language patterns. I don't think I meant to talk about this today, but I wanted to bring it up. Dear ladies, because we recognise things in what people say, and do you just sometimes just notice things glaringly obvious about how someone must be in so much pain or challenged with something, or carrying big battle scars, and you could just see them in the supermarket?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You go to this funny girl.
Well, people hurt. People being, and it comes up. See, that saying, and I guess this really landed when I understood all of this in a way that I hadn't had it land. And it's just flown out of my head simply as that.
But just talk about hurt people.
Hurt people hurt.
And hurt people also hurt other people.
That's right.
How I think of it as well, it's like a 10-kilo weight. And it often comes in as weight, right? So protect ourselves. But if we give that weight, that backpack of 10 kilos to somebody else, it makes that like, there's so much better.
Yes.
And so we just continue it, and that becomes this habitual behaviour of hurting other people. And it's not, we're not doing it because we want to be hurtful, we're doing it because of survival, because we don't want to carry this weight any longer.
Yes.
And
I've remembered.
Okay.
No,
perfect.
I remembered. That actions speak louder than words. So when you see what someone's action is, if someone says that they love you, how are they actioning that love to you? If someone says they're going to be there for you, how is that going to happen? And they may not have capacity. So what they do for you is where their level of capacity is from because of their own experiences. Anxiety. I'm teaching my daughter how to drive right now.
Oh,
The anxiety.
very brave.
Oh my goodness. The anxiety that's coming up in me then comes up in her. But I've noticed that, and I said to her today, your actions are telling me you don't think you're feeling anxious, but your actions are showing me that you are anxious. So it is look at people's actions, because that actually does tell you the story. It's not necessarily the words. People can be really good at words. How are you? Oh yeah, I'm real good. I'm real fine. And deep down they're not. They've got life is falling apart, But then, the shake of the hand when they go to get a coffee or something like that, there will always be an actionable tell that something is going on more for someone else. And the way they show up.
Yeah, and that behavioral, it's either a language pattern or something that you see in them, but it'll come out, yes, in their actionable behaviors. You can certainly see it in the workplace, particularly inconsistency in leadership, or these control issues can come up, and some leaders are just completely unaware. They're so unaware of it. It's just the learned behavior and the continuation of that. And when I sometimes talk to business owners and say, did you recognize, can I share some feedback? Did you recognize what you just said in that meeting with the team? And they're like, no. I said, did you realize that you just took over the whole team meeting and told them how you closed all the deals this week? And, there were 50 deals. You closed 49 of them. And they said, yeah. And still, waiting, the moment's like, yeah, I did close 49. And I said, making sure that we care for the team and look at them as a whole is a really important part, because the 49 deals might happen on the front end, but the back end's got 5-10 people involved in it. And so if we're in the workplace just sort of getting the pom-poms out with the sales team or the front end people, and not talking about the people that are running together, or someone says, well, I'm the most productive, and it can come out in ego, it can come out in very, very strong situations. Really challenging for the rest of the team they couldn't really do it without the support crew. And so I always think that the collective team growth is important. We look at the results and put everyone collectively. We did this. That's the healthy way. It doesn't mean I've come across that in the past.
And I think sometimes that's sort of in people that do take all the accolades, is actually some kind of front that they're putting up because they need some kind of confirmation for themselves, and that can take a lot out of a team. Is if you're just looking at one person, but really the leader has to put them back and allow them to take the accolades as well. So yes, you're leading, but you're making sure that everybody is seen and heard and having that space.
For sure. Oh, a great topic. So just in a wrap up, battle scars, they aren't weaknesses. They're often proof that you survived something, but survival patterns can become limitations if we never unpack them.
That's true.
So we are going to have a little bit of an episode 2 on this. We're going to talk about the hard part. What happens when we realize those old scars are still running our lives, and how we begin changing them. Are you ladies ready to talk about that in our next episode?
100%.
I love it.
It's exciting.
Beautiful. Well, I look forward to it soon. So in wrapping up, burnout, business and body aren't separate, they're connected. And when you take care of all three, you don't just survive life, you thrive in it. We're here to motivate, educate and encourage you to take care of what matters, and that is you. If something landed here today, don't just nod and move on, do something with it. Follow our podcast, share it with someone who needs it, or take the next step and work with one of us or all three through our 8-step growth master plan. We're also opening up our books shortly to do corporate visits.
Yay.
So our links are in the show notes, and we just want to say goodbye. And this is Burnout, Business and Body. Take care of all three always.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
girls.
Thank you.
Bye.